Good day, elegant monkeys. Today we are going to take a deep look into a Constellation Network. Dagnum PI, one of the biggest shillers of Constellation Network, just put out a 13-minute video. Dagnum always has all the insight on Constellation, so I wanted to watch this together. Hopefully I could break some things down that are a little bit more complicated because Constellation is a little bit complicated. If you haven't heard of Constellation Network yet, ticker DAG, D-A-G. They are, I think, the only public blockchain, even though it's not a blockchain, it's a DAG, or a graph, the only public blockchain to be working directly with the Department of Defense. I know we also have Corda, which is like a private chain, or Simba chain. These are private chains. But in terms of public blockchains, Constellation is the only freaking one that I know that's working with it. HBAR has some projects, but it's not official. It's not it's like testing projects where Department of Defense says that Constellation Network is mission critical. So this is my most bullish utility play. It's the altcoin that I'm super freaking pumped about. And yeah, let's find out some more information about what.
All right, I've got a made a video actually the other day, but I'm
Oh, let's bring that back down. Can I go full screen on this thing? Picture in picture? Oh, I can't go full screen because you can't see it. So we're gonna keep it
glad
small.
I kind of
Can I
held
zoom
off
in?
on it
No.
because now it's going to make a
Little
little
quick.
bit
Yeah.
more sense on how this all ties in. So the cloud infrastructure service
Oh, BT dub, Dagna PI. Yo, this is like a bad layout. This looks terrible. Too much shit going on.
actually has a revenue right now of $73 billion. Yeah, with the B billion. I mean, that's a massive market, and you can see here from this list, it's kind of a crowded space, but
Hold on. Can I find? Okay, there we go. I got zoom in a little bit.
Amazon, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, Salesforce, IBM Cloud, Oracle. I've seen numbers all over the place on where this thing is going to project out, even in the trillions of dollars, hundreds of billions. I mean, regardless, it's a massive market opportunity. So we got some news from Constellation, and they had their vision piece. And that's one of the reasons why I sort of held off, because I wanted to see what was going to be put out in this.
Okay, if you're unaware, there's a lot of shit going on with Constellation right now. We are in March. I think today is March 1st of 2025. So we have the Pocket Dex, their decentralized Dex, is launching any day. This is going to happen in Q1. So this should happen really shortly. Maybe they're trying to time it with this crypto summit that's going on. Then we also have delegated staking, which is occurring very soon. And then we also have the crypto summit, which was just announced by the White House on March 7th. It's happening. And we have two of the co-founders, Benjamin Jorgensen and Benjamin Diggles, are both speaking on stage during that event. There's a lot of shit going on. There's a big month for Constellation.
In this new vision piece. Uh, and it was a good thing I did hold off, because they clearly articulated a lot of use cases. So the other day on CNBC, they had this article from Oracle, one of those cloud providers.
I'm sorry about the quality of the video, but I didn't do anything about that.
He thinks in the future the government wants to build these sovereign AI cloud infrastructure. And this makes perfect sense if you think about it, especially considering the fact it in the past recent years, we've seen adversarial nation states target each other and try to get into its systems and wreak havoc. And everybody wants to protect their critical infrastructure. And this is something that's actually been going on in the United States for a while. The Department of Defense has had this ongoing initiative for years, securing its systems on the cloud. And this program was originally called JEDI, but they've recently moved to a new language. It's called this Joint Warfighter Cloud Capability. And it's a $9 billion in total. Only 2% of that has gone out.
Wow.
And guess who is smack dab in the middle of all of that?
Come on, baby.
It's none other than Constellation Network. So way back in 2019, Constellation Network showed the government this is how they won their contract. So they showed that the Department of Defense that they could secure mission critical data at
If you're unaware, Constellation Network has been working with the Department of Defense for freaking years. Years. This is one of the reasons why I'm so bullish on Constellation Network right now, is that for the government to adopt a chain or a new program like this, it's not a quick process. So any of these new brains, any of these new chains, not even like XRP is new or HBAR is new or any new L1 SUI or DI or whatever the shit is going to be. If they want to have a real contract with the government, it's going to take years. They have to do all this testing first before the government approves it. Constellation is fucking done. They already been approved. They're already considered mission critical by the DoD. So right when we're at this peak moment where Doge is looking for a solution to track all this government corruption and government waste, what chain can they use? Can they use a chain that hasn't been pre-approved, that's going to take years to get that approval, or the fucking chain that's already set up and ready to go? It just seems like I could be wrong too. This is not financial advice. I'm a cartoon monkey. So like, this is just my opinion. I'm just pumped. I think Constellation Network is fucking perfectly suited, has all these great partnerships, is already working with government, is working with congressmen, like, and congresswomen, whatever. I think this shit is here. This is the moment. This is when Constellation becomes known in the crypto sphere, and it jumps from stupidly underpriced at 250 million market cap to multi-billions. Multi-billions. It has to be. It has to be a multi-billion-dollar project. Has to be.
scale. And essentially, what they were able to prove to them is they could take any data from any source and securely transmit it using distributed ledger technology. So as some of you know, one of the key selling points to blockchain is its immutability. So you can't get in there and disrupt any part of the system. I mean, it's locked, it's secured, it's not going anywhere. And that's really important when it comes to things like airplanes, right? You don't want to have the GPS data being spoofed. I mean, you could have planes crashing into each other.
Okay, so let's look at this as like IoT data transmission. That's what's going on up there. Validating IoT data transmission. So from any IoT device, which could be a drone, which could be an autonomous vehicle, which could be a refrigerator, could be freaking anything. With Constellation Network, you're able to verify that the data that was sent from the IoT to the receiving object, receiving computer, receiving whatever it is accurate. It has not been tampered with. It can be sent in a secure way. So you imagine, how about for all these like drone shows in China where you got 1,000 drones talking to each other? This will be a similar situation, although for us to be more military focused, where if somebody could hack that data and corrupt it, you could get the drones to fly into each other and maybe spark a chain reaction of explosions and take down the whole drone army. But with Constellation, they can confirm that the data is accurate when it gets sent from one place to the other place. What was the other thing I was just thinking about? With the cars going on, the same thing for satellites as well. God damn, I just lost my thought. Something else too. I'll remember in a second.
It's a big problem, and the government specifically is looking to on ways that they can secure their systems. Constellation themselves actually were able to show this publicly in a demo. So back in 2019,
was never. So Constellation Network also has a partnership with Panasonic. This was newly announced. Panasonic has an L1, has their own L1 built on top of Constellation Network. And they have a deal with like Tough Books, which is basically just like a super laptop that you can't destroy. It's like the laptops that the military use when they're on the field, so they can get muddy and waterproof, and they're probably bulletproof too. I don't know, these are giant things. But you could even, let's say if you're using the computer to take a picture or to take video in the field, Constellation Network is able to verify that the video that was taken or the picture that was taken has not been corrupted when it got transmitted. So with the amount of AI crap we got going on with all this fake information, with Constellation, you'll be able to verify that that picture is actually the picture that was taken at that moment, or actually the video that was shot at that moment. So there won't be this constant doubt of something is real or not.
Driving down the freeway, and they were securing real-time location data, transmitting it to the chain on a public ledger. Okay, so this was already proven, uh, and Constellation has proven to the government that they can secure.
That was Wyatt holding that computer. Wyatt, I miss you, man. I wish we knew more about what was going on with Constellation and with the new reality net. I wish I knew it. It's probably just drama, and that's why they don't talk about it. But I was attracted to Wyatt right away. I thought he was an interesting character.
Data at scale.
He was the original CTO.
So how does that sort of tie into to Amazon? Well, if you look at some of the companies that are building on Constellation, there's this network called Forward Edge AI.
I heard
And they're a proud partner of Microsoft's Pegasus program. So the Microsoft Pegasus program is this incubator startup, and it's invite only. So that's pretty telling, right? That they're not just going to let anybody into this program. But Forward Edge AI themselves, they have lots of interesting use cases that have already won them accolades within the federal government. And one of the specific use cases that you can see here, where it's directly tied into what I was talking about, is right here. So they have already proven to the United States government, this actually won them a contract on how you could stop adversarial networks from intruding into their systems. And you can see it's integrated with Microsoft's cloud service, right?
Okay.
And Microsoft Cloud, as you saw on that previous slide, was one of the leaders in cloud computing. Microsoft is also one of the key principal people that is part of this joint warfighting cloud capability.
Okay.
Microsoft is also directly tied into this thing, this National Digifoundry.
So now I see where he's going. Now I get it. Go on, Dad.
National Digifoundry is a DAO that's set up to push forward the adoption of digital assets, and it's specifically tailored to fostering how public and private can work together in fostering these new innovations. And it's got the National Science Foundation.
The National Digifoundry is a group that has their own L1 on top of DAG as well, or on top of Constellation Network. Constellation Network is the only network they work with. This is big government. This is big NASA. They are working on building a space station and using DAG to secure the data that's being sent between the satellites and the space station. When you think of National Digifoundry, you should think of Constellation Network. And so Microsoft being paired with National Digifoundry gives it some connection to Constellation Network. So that's where he's going with this partly. And I know partly of that AI program that he's speaking about is that they are working on chips that are quantum resistant as well. And that was part of the satellite things. They were going to put these chips in the satellites, and they will be they're IoT. I see what's going on.
It's got the Space Force. It's got the U.S. Department of Treasury. It's got IBM. And, I believe now it's over 100 different companies.
This is a big group too. Like if you want to be in this National Digifoundry, it's a couple $1,000s a year to be a part of it. It's a big, it's not a small thing, and it's for big players
that are all part of this. And they have these different working groups, all dedicated to specific use cases. They've got this financial product. They've got climate disaster and response. They also have secure information sharing.
That lives on.
The list goes on. And in each one of these working groups, you have members that are going after and showcasing their specific use cases. And it's these use cases that will then be put out into a public use, hopefully. And Forward Edge AI is one of these companies. And actually, King Solomon was shown a little sneak peek at this demo, and Forward Edge AI was part of this. Okay. And what were they doing? They were getting source data, and it was being validated by uh, the weather.gov, right? So this this is massive. This is a massive validation of Constellation's network. So you're having NOAA uh, get real-time satellite and weather data from all these different sensors, and you want to make sure that all of this data is secure. But it even goes further than that. It's not just
Wait a minute. I assume maybe didn't say something clearly. I'm assuming that the weather, what is it, the Weather Foundation or National Weather, whatever the hell it was. I assume that must have some working relationship with the Digi Foundry. So assuming that all that data that's coming from this weather satellites is secured by Constellation, I think that's what he's putting together. He didn't say that exactly, but I think that's what he's meaning by this.
this Forward Edge AI. And if you look at this company and you go down the rabbit hole a little bit further, they're involved with so much more. It's not just securing weather data. They're doing lots of things. But to get back to this thing about how sovereign governments and governments specifically are going to secure their networks via the cloud, well, the other day in my Telegram group, somebody pointed out that the city of Fort Worth, Texas, is actually building a metagraph. So they're using right now the city of Fort Worth, Texas, is actively building a metagraph.
Okay.
So they're
If that's true, that's really cool. So a metagraph is basically an L1 built on top of Constellation Network. So Constellation Network is an L0, which is able to have L1s built on top of it. So if you have on Constellation Network, you could build Ethereum on top. You could build AVAX on top. You could build ADA on top of Constellation. So what was it? Fort Worth, Texas. So Texas is building a metagraph on top. That's pretty fucking good. That's pretty exciting.
using Constellation's technology. So this is one of the largest cities in the country that's working actively right now on integrating their municipality with distributed ledger technology. And which distributed ledger technology are they using? They're using Constellation's distributed ledger technology. And if you look at this company, actually, and specifically, one of the things that I wanted to point out here, because this is pretty interesting. So
I'm sorry, this video is just not clear. Even me, I can't read it on my screen. Like, Dagon PI, I love you so much, man. But this setup you got with all this blockchain applicants for all this crap, it just gets in the way. I can't freaking read the all the Twitter chats going on in here. But I love you, Dagnum.
oh, this guy right here, he's one of the he's the president of this DAO. He's also an Oracle architect and an analyst for Texas Blockchain Association. But what's really interesting here is it's not just the city of Fort Worth, Texas. Uh, you know, he says here that it's also the city of Austin, the city of Houston, and the city of Dallas.
Shit, nice.
So I don't know what it's going to take, for people to take a step back.
If you imagine this guy, Dagnum PI, has been shilling Constellation for freaking years. He's been breaking down the information on this network for freaking years, nonstop. And before, he was probably the only DAG shill there was. And he's still one of the few. There's not many yet. And this token is still not properly priced. Unbelievably underpriced. So his frustration is I'm sure he must be so absurdly frustrated. But let's say on this last freaking dip, I doubled my DAG bag. I did. I mean, like, I took advantage of this. I did double my DAG bag, and I have FOMO. It's so weird. I have fucking FOMO. I want to buy more of this stuff.
And look
This
at
is
things that
exciting
are happening
to me, right?
right in front of your face, because things are happening right now, and it's happening on Constellation Network. It's not happening on Ethereum.
Yes.
It's not happening on Cardano. It's not happening on Polkadot. It's definitely not happening on Solana, because we all know they can't scale. It's happening on Constellation. And why specifically is it happening on Constellation? Well, because they have a scalable architecture. These metagraphs themselves are all independent networks. Each one of these metagraphs is its own independent blockchain network. And each one of these metagraphs can scale independently.
This gets confusing, um, because we just don't have the vocabulary for it yet, and people don't quite understand. But what he's saying too, is that a metagraph, aka an L1, which would be Ethereum, AVAX, ADA, all these big ones, they can be built on top of Constellation, but they can be their own individual network. They do not get affected. Let's say Ethereum builds on Constellation, or builds does a not a fork, but let's say a copy of Ethereum, puts it on Constellation. That could be one network. They can have their own consensus algorithm for their network. They can have their own token. They can have their own how would I say? They could have their own specifics about the network, how it worked. And then another metagraph, let's say it's AVAX, comes to Constellation. They could have their own. It's completely separate, and everything could be completely separate. But because everything lives on top of Constellation, they can all get the same advantages a Constellation can offer in terms of data transfer, and they can be able to feelessly swap tokens. So instead of using a bridge, which are fucking annoying and also introduce risk, unnecessary risk, you could be able to swap Ethereum for AVAX, completely decentralized, completely with no bridge involved, and still all on chain. So this shit is going to happen. It's just how it happens, one step at a time.
Okay. So that's one of the reasons why. The other reason why, specifically, I think a lot of these governments are utilizing and Constellation's technology is its compute power. So Constellation has one of the lowest compute powers out of any distributed ledger technology. I mean, you can see from the
I wish they would include HBAR into this. I wish they would do that, because it's like, I mean, obviously, it's going to be drastically better than Bitcoin and Litecoin and all the proof of work. But I mean, it's good to have XRP on there. That's a fast chain. Solana, I wish we could see Solana and HBAR on there as well, to see truly, is it faster than HBAR? I don't know. Or is it cheaper than HBAR? I don't know. I think it is, but I would like to see that.
this list, and this is actually an older uh, list, so it could even be better than this. The cost per transaction. So I think it's time for people to take this network more serious, because massive things are happening, and opportunity is literally going to blow you by. You're literally going to miss out on $1 billion opportunity, because this cloud thing, this is just one specific use case.
I mean, like, the chart for DAG is definitely not the best chart in crypto right now. But I think DAG is going to have like a meme coin pump. I think it's going to go through a repricing, because it's too good. Once people know about it, it's going to get fucking priced. So we're going to go from 250 million market cap to 4, 5, 10 billion, like in a day, in a week or something. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I don't want to miss it. That's the problem. Even though there's other charts I like better right now, I do keep buying DAG, because I don't want to miss that chart. I have FOMO. I have FOMO. I mean, it's rational. I guess it's not irrational, but it is an emotional FOMO drive, and I don't want to miss that pump when it comes.
The metagraphs themselves can have an infinite number of use cases and applications to be tied into. It's not just having an advantage in cloud computing. So that's it. That's my rant. All right, everybody, take it easy.
All right. Dagnum PI, I love you, man. Keep doing your work. I appreciate all the work you've done. Uh, if you ever see this, I would love, if I can get an interview, I'd love to interview. I think I could ask some really good questions that would help clarify things and maybe make things clearer. Because I think I have a decent understanding of the network and I would be able to ask good questions. So let me know. We'd love to interview you for an hour whenever, if you have time. If you haven't checked out Constellation DAG yet, check it out. I really think it's fantastic. It'd be good if you checked it out before March 7th, before this digital chamber of commerce, whatever this big meeting is. I think it's pretty freaking good. Also check out Quant QNT for probably my second favorite utility token. And of course, check out Most Elegant Monkey Ever, my favorite meme coin. I think that's it. If there's any tokens you think I should check out, let me know. If you have any questions about DAG, let me know. If you have any videos about DAG I haven't seen yet, let me know because I'm trying to learn as much as I can about this project because I'm in deep. My DAG bag is heavier than I ever expected. And I'm either going through life-changing gains or I'll be frustrated one day. We'll see. Until next time, stay elegant.